Application software. Now I am coming into application software. Now the question, this is a big question in Sri Lanka. Half of the application software problems in Sri Lanka has failed. Why? Why is that half of this? Probably even more than half of this one. And what has this construction workers got to do with software development? Pretty interesting, isn't it? Everything. I have put construction project as an example because all of you will understand the construction project very well. Then what I will do is I'll get an exact example, a failure, not so successful project of what has happened in software comparing to the construction project. So let's go to the project. So software is a very interesting field, and a lot of organizations I know are reluctant to go for software development in Sri Lanka because of these bad experiences. I am not boasting about ourselves, but whatever the software projects that we have done has not failed so far. It has not failed. We have continued and we have finished it. Right. So idea is that one, we start with a two-storied house. Fine, do the design and everything. People are working on two-storied house. Then once you build everything, construction is over, you go inside and you find it out that, my goodness, the windows are in the wrong direction. This is not where we need the windows. We want to put windows somewhere else. You ask the Basunna to do that. If he is good enough, he will do it free of charge. Otherwise, he will ask for money from you. Isn't it? You will understand. Any change that you have to pay money. Then what will happen? Then all of a sudden you put up the roof and everything. Someone comes and say, this roof this way is not lucky. This is very bad. Bad domain. Change it. Now what? You have to change the roof. Roof has already constructed. Now definitely you have to pay the money and get it done again. Right? Okay. Now the next step, stage 4. Assume the owner's son come from outside and he says, "Amma monawada me kale? Metana hadanna one apartment ekak, 4-storied apartment." Now what will happen? You have to flatten everything because the foundation won't last, right? Everything and start new. Now don't you have to pay all these steps? You have to. Everyone in this audience will understand that every step, when you do those changes, you have to, and when you have to build up a 4-storied house, you have to, completely flatten out what you have done and do a build. Everyone will understand. But unfortunately in software, that understanding is not there. This is a classic example. Sri Lanka Blood Bank. We went there. We were a subcontractor to, because it was a loan from Netherlands to Sri Lanka Blood Bank. Huge loan. It was given to a Sri Lankan company and we were subcontractor to them. So we were asked to develop this software because our blood bank operation is unique in the world. There's nothing you can get a package. So we went there. He gave us 4 pages of this one. I have already done everything. This is your requirement. You develop according to this one. Nothing more, nothing less. We took it, went back, discussed variations. Monada wenna puluwan hamadema katha kalla. Antiyata we gave a quote. Okay, 10 million. Okay, good. Everyone is happy. Unfortunately, in the middle of that thing, he got transferred. Then came a new director. Alu director kenek. Now he came and said, no. Our requirement is much higher than this. This is just a subset of what our requirement is. Then we said, yes, okay. Done a new requirement, which is called SRS. Alut requirements document ek hadwa. Adala dunna. Cost එක වැඩි වුණා 18 million. We gave the cost. Okay, agreed. Now we started this one. And unfortunately, he also got changed. Then came a new director. And he said, I don't know how to evaluate this one. I need a team. And he put a team of consultants there. And they came. about 5 senior consultants from, right? They came, they started now discussing and everything. Now what happened? Completely new design. Whatever we have to do, we had to throw it out and start with a new design. Exactly like what happened here. And the cost went up to 34 million. We didn't get the final money, but we completed it for the sake of good, this one. It was a subcontractor. The blood bank was not our contract. We completed it, but I don't think that project ended up in a success because they used it for about how many years? For a long, long time they used it, but they didn't have money to maintain it. Since we didn't get the payments, we said after some time, sorry, you have to give us at least money to maintain it. So that's exactly what has happened there. I'm telling you the whole truth. Now come, I don't know whether how many of you know, there is no scientific method to estimate the cost of software development project. Few of the senior people will get together and do the cost of thing. This is an issue. So where is the variation? How much the cost of a software project can vary? It can vary 4 times. ඔගලන්ට එන කෝට් එක 100 මිලියන් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් 400 මිලියන් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් 100 මිලියන් එක ඩිසාස්ටර් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් 400 මිලියන් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඇත්ත එහෙම නැත්නම් 400 මිලියන් එක ඕවර් කෝට් වෙලත් පුළුවන් 100 මිලියන් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඇත්ත. But later on I will discuss about AI. Things are changing, right? But even as of now, it's on people, get together senior people with experience and decide how much they build it, they divide it into components and decide. There's no scientific method. Input dala output ganna bෑ. Equation ek wage. Software development. That's another issue in software development projects where it's very, very difficult. අපි ගඩොලක price එක දන්නවා, සිමෙන්ති වල price එක දන්නවා, හදන්න යන price එක දන්නවා. This is a difference between construction project and a software project. කරලා තියෙන එකක් නම් accurate software project එක. කරලා නැති එකක් නම් the variation can be 1 to 4 times. Right. So it's worth going for software development. මට ඕනේ වුණා මේ ලොකු ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් කොස්ට් එකක් කවුරු හරි එළියෙන් ගිය එකක්. අපි කවුරුත් නැතුව එකක් පොඩි ඉන්ෆර්මේෂන් එකක් gather කරගන්න. And I was able to find this video. It's available in the video. I'll share with the video. Link is also there. What does it say? This is about a single window system for Pakistan. Pakistan, the officials has been very, very nice to our officials. They have mentioned how much the cost for their system, how much the overseas direct cost that has been quoted for indirect bidding, and how much they took it to develop, because they did it on their own. Atule develop karagatta. So these are the prices. Foreign direct package, USD 285 million. Sri Lankan rupees only 7.5 billion quote kalla tibuna. Hari? What they have done is only took US dollars 5 million. It's 1.5 billion Sri Lankan rupees. And may 1.5 billion will have advantage because it will stay in the country, it won't go out. So that's another advantage you have. So how much are the foreign resources you have to have some idea. Construction. They charge from $1,000 to $1,500 per day. Foreign resources, if you take it. Local resources, the current, it's not cheap, I would say. It's about $100 per day. Yeah, but it's very compared to this, 1,500 to 100, right? It's like more than 5 times, right? Yeah, 15 times, yeah. 15 times less. Now your question is, so many people are doing IT. Why is it expensive? Even if you think that this is $100 per day is expensive, right? If you think. I'll come that in later in this slide. This is the video. I'll give it to you. You can watch this video. Location 27, you can find the information about the costing the Pakistan single window system. You know the single window system, that's customs. Multiple people are involved in customs. So you have one single window for clearance. Everything comes beautifully. Sri Lanka wanted to do the same thing. They have called for tenders. I also bid for that one, but it was for foreign direct bidding. I don't know whether the project will go ahead or not. During previous time. Now the next question is, if you go it now, if you start a software development project, 99% of the time, it will be on open source. Is open source reliable? මොකක්ද මේ open source කියන්නේ? Developers like අහුවෙලා, community developers like අහුවෙලා කරන එක. So how reliable is this? What if they stop contributing to this product? What will happen to you? So now that's a question, right? But I don't think you have to worry about it. Now look at these two. In software, there is front end, back ends, there are development tools. I don't go into all the details, but I'll take two tools, very popular tools. Right now, people are using open source tools for the front end development. One is Angular, the other one is React. Though it's a community development, who is backing it? React is backing by Facebook. Google is backed by, Angular is backed by Google. So why I am saying, because they themselves use this. අවුරුදු 10ක් මේ කම්පැනි දෙක තියෙන්නේ නැද්ද? අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලන් පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේම වැඩවලට මේක නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මොකද තියෙන අවුරුදු 10ක්. So බය නැතුව පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. So when you are getting into open source, it's very, very important. You have to find it out who is backing it. If a large company like this is backing it, fine. Absolute no issue is going open source. But you have to be careful. Make sure that it's being backed by large companies. Right. Now, what has that got to do with software? Make a program school CSR program universities. The idea is we are going and giving these students the direction, because we see a big gap between the industry and what is coming out from universities and schools. Make IT part very, very important. So what is this? The may lamata illand pula warak me deviyange. Habai deviyo ehema honda දෙයියෙක් නෙමෙයි. දෙකයි කියන්නේ. හරි? Option දෙකයි දෙන්නේ. එක්කෝ එළමයට, this is what I have done for the university. එක්කෝ එළමයට first class එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඉංග්‍රීසි, very fluent in ඉංග්‍රීසි. මම මේක දාලා ඉවරලා මම ළමයින්ට කියනවා vote කරන්න කියලා. අද මම ගත්තේ නැහැ online voting. Usually මම online voting ගන්නවා. මොකද මම මේකේ importance එක. To tell you frankly, English is more important than first class as of now in the industry. I'll explain why. This is the reality. මම දැකලා තියෙනවා ළමයි මම ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගත්තේ 6 ඉගෙන ගත්තේ නෑ මම. ඒ දවස්වල බ්‍රිටිෂ් කවුන්සිල් එකට යන්න ඕන වෙලා මම ඔක්කොම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් බ්‍රිටිෂ් කවුන්සිල් එකට බයයි යන්න සිංහලෙන් ලියාගත්ත ඔක්කොම ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් අහන්න පුළුවන් දේවල් අරගෙන කොලේක ලියාගෙන තමයි බ්‍රිටිෂ් කවුන්සිල් එකට ගියේ. So I was not born very good English. මම එහෙම ඉපදුන කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි. හරි? ඉතින් මේක නමුත් යථාර්ථය තමයි දැන් you get discriminated based on English. That's the reality. And when English කියන්නේ මේ ඇවිල්ලා නිකන් මේ කතා කරලා hello how are you කියන English නෙමෙයි. You have to be very fluent in English. And this is one of the reasons why some people when they pass out from their universities ලක්ෂ 3.5 පඩි ගන්නවා. සමහර අයට 50,000යි internship එකක් ගන්නත් බෑ. Some companies, leading companies Sri Lanka දොරකොඩින් මෙහාට ගන්න ඉංග්‍රීසි බැරි නම්. මේ තමයි යථාර්ථය ලංකාවේ. මේ තමයි reality එක. So if you have your own kids who is following IT, the first fundamental rule is they have to be very, very fluent in English. Tata, TCL, Tata Consultancy Limited, ලංකාවට ආවා. ඇවිල්ලා they wanted to recruit 1,500 software people. ගියා මම 10 දෙනෙක් දැම්මා. 10 දෙනාගෙන් මගේ 8 දෙනෙක් විතර fail. හැමතැනම fail. You know the reason? English. මම හිටිය එක කාලයක් මේකේ ඕල්ඩ් ආනන්දීස් ඉංජිනියර්ස් ගෲප් එකේ මම ප්‍රෙසිඩන්ට් වෙලා හිටියා. මට කිව්වා ළමයි 4 දෙනෙකුට නැහැ කියලා, ඉංජිනියර්ස්ලා 4 දෙනෙකුට මොරටුවේ නැහැ කියලා jobs. මං කිව්වා 4 දෙනාට වෙන්න කියලා. The moment they walk into my room, you know what I sensed? ඉංග්‍රීසි බෑ. 4 දෙනාට මම කෙනෙක් ගත්තා අනිත් අය මං assign කරා. So please say this message to everyone that you know, that they have to make students ලට කියන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි fluently ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගන්න කියලා. අනිත් ඔක්කොටම වැඩිය මේක important. I'll tell you why later on as well. හරි. අනිත් එක 1000 ඇයි මේ තාම software industry එකේ මේ $100 විතර එන්නේ $2000 තමයි going rate එක per month. ඒකටත් ඉංග්‍රීසි හේතුවක්. මොකද software industry එකේ ගන්න ඉංග්‍රීසි පුළුවන් අය බැරි අයව productive ඒවට දාන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට කොච්චර කට්ටිය හිටියත් වැටෙන්නේ ඇත්තටම වැඩේ අරගෙන යන්නේ ටික දෙනෙක්. ඒකින්ද තමයි තාම මේ prices high. Otherwise the prices should have gone down right now. ඕක තමයි reality එක. හරි. දැන් එමු systems design පැත්තට. Very interesting case study. I got involved I think late 2000 විතර වෙනකොට 2000 ඉඳලා 2005 විතර වෙනකොට මේ Bank of Ceylon core banking system එක. මම පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ දවස්වල තිබුණු තත්ත්වය කතා කරන්න. Everywhere if there's a critical site it was IBM. De facto ports, banks, airlines, everyone using IBM. So then came this open computing concept එක ඇවිල්ලා. Bank of Ceylon was the first one we took a big risk. They have contracted directly with the company name Unisys. IBM was number 1, Unisys was number 2, Boros කියලා company එකක් තිබ්බ number 3. මේ දෙන්න එක්ක වුණා number 1 vendor. I didn't work it out like that. So they directly contracted Unisys. So what happened? So Unisys came with open concept. එතකොට මේ දවස්වල client server, මේ පළවෙනි client server එක banks වල try කරපු. දැම්මා දාලා ඉවර වෙලා මේ විදිහට කරේ. මේ ටික දාන්න. They came with a concept called distributed client server architecture. Head office එකේ database එක තියාගමු කිව්වා. regional වල applications ටිකක් දාගමු, application servers දාගමු කියලා කිව්වා. branches මේ regional application එකෙන් connect කරමු කියලා කිව්වා. Because the communication also was not good at these days. Very expensive. So this is මේක තිබ්බේ client එකක්, but it's called flat client. ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු program එකක් මේක ඇතුළේ run වෙනවා. So what went wrong? දැන් දාගෙන යනවා project එක requirements දාලා ඔක්කොම කළා. users ලා 200ක් ගහව ගමන් මේක ඇන හිටිනවා. Mind you, these servers are pretty huge servers. අද වගේ ලංකාවෙන් භාගයකට කේට කරන්න පුළුවන් servers මේවා. ඉච්චර powerful. 200යි දාන්න පුළුවන්. 200න් එහා පැත්තට කිර වෙනවා. What was the reason? Reason was this is stateful. Nothing doing, no processing, no issue. It's a memory issue. මේ හැම userටම මේ machine එකේ memory එකක් තියාගන්නවා ඇතුලේ. ඒක state එකක් තියාගන්නවා. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? You have all the processing power in the world, but if the memory is not there to keep these sessions, you are lost. There's no cure for this one because this is a design fault. It's a bad, very, very expensive mistake. This can't scale. Then I realized this is why IBM had their own system, their own protocols, like a closed system. IBM will take away closed systems. All the rest of the people were called open systems. Everything was closed. But they had a beautiful system. Communication traffic was very little. And then scaling, you can scale it like infinite, huge, no issues, absolute no issues at that. Then I realized how important the scaling factor is for large enterprises. Now what has happened? So this is after that, what has happened is open computing community. This is a failed model that didn't work it out for large applications. Then what else? Then at that time again came the web. Now it's very nice. But the web එක ආපු ගමන් scale කරන්න පුළුවන්. Reason එක This web server is stateless. So that major issue in statefulness is now gone with web server. So you put up a front end a web server and you give a HTML client, that's a web client, that scalability issue can be solved to a fairly extent. Now this model has been there for a long time. Even today if you take it, most of the applications belongs to this model. This is a very good model. But then people found out why we have 3 physical servers. Why can't we put all these servers into one physical server? That's a virtualization, right? And then came the wave of virtualization. But the big question is now, do people use this architecture anymore? Do people use it? No. Nope. Gone. No one is using it. Instead, everyone is using something called microservices and cloud native computing. Now, what is microservices and cloud native computing? That is the latest as of now. If you use Netflix, if you use Amazon, everything, every day when you switch on Netflix, you get new features. It won't go down. So how did they do it? The secret behind that one is microservices and cloud native computing. So now I have to explain to all of you microservices and cloud native computing. So it has been a challenge. So how do I solve this? This is I'm thinking. How do I do this? So best way I thought is I take a very simple application and develop it with you. In 3 slides, I'm going to develop the application with you at a conceptual level. Starting with client server, the old model, and going into microservices, and then going into cloud native computing. Bear with me. This is the application. Everyone knows about it. It's e-commerce application. Web එකේ බඩු ටික තියෙනවා ගිහිල්ලා order කරලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Very simple application එකක්. මේ components 4ක් තියෙනවා. Payment service එක, card එක දාලා payment කරන්න පුළුවන්. User service එක, login වෙන්න user ට, product services එක, catalog එක මොනවද තියෙන්නේ කියලා, අන්තිම එක order service. shopping cart එකට දාලා මේ order එක place කරාම මේකේ 4ක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි කොහොමද මේ වැඩේ කරන්නේ? දැන් ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක මම මේක කරන්න යන්නේ. පළවෙනි එක මම පටන් ගන්නවා client server එකේ. දැන් පළවෙනිට මේක program කරන්න එපා. software develop කරන්න එපා. මම ගන්නවා machine එකක්. අරගෙන machine එකේ මේ ඔක්කොම එකට දාලා develop කරන්න පුළුවන් PHP කියලා language එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක ඇවිල්ලා web server plus application development. මේකෙන් මට මේක කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔක්කොම එකට දැන් හැබැයි. දාලා ඉවරලා මම develop කරා. හැබැයි ඉතින් මගේ data තියාගන්න එපා. PHP වල data තියාගන්න බෑ. ඒ පාර මම data තියාගන්නවා MySQL කියලා database එක තියලා ඒ දෙක connect කරනවා. Beautiful. ඊට පස්සේ මම කට්ටියට කියනවා web link එකක් දෙනවා. දැන් බඩු order කරන්න පුළුවන්. This is up and running. Most of the e-commerce sites in Sri Lanka belongs to this model as of now. Right? Because it's small, it is good enough. No complexity, nothing. Right. So that is why. This is a client server model. දැන් මොකද කරන්න යන්නේ මම? දැන් මම මගේ second step එක මේ servers දෙක තුනක් තියාගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මේ එක server එකේ දානවා. පොඩි application එකක් එක server එකේ දාලා මේ දෙකම එකට virtual servers විදිහට ගන්නවා. So this is the next step. Virtualization. This is what happened in the history. Then මොකද කරන්නේ? දැන් හරි. එතකොට මට මේක additional savings එනවා මේ server දෙකක් එකට දාලා. දැන් ඔන්න මම virtualization එකේ ඉන්නේ දැන්. මේ state එකේ ඉන්නේ. දැන් මම මොකද යන්නේ? මෙන්න යනවා මම දැන් පළවෙනි step එක microservices architecture එකේ, which is called containerization. What the heck is containerization? For the time being, assume මේ containers කියන concept එකයි virtual computers කියන virtual computers කියන concept එකයි දෙකම එකක්. මේක ඇතුලේ container එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. containers ගොඩක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. virtually හදන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ difference එක තමයි මගේ services 4ක් තියෙනවානේ. ඒ services 4 එක එක container එකේ මට දාන්න පුළුවන්. Which I cannot do with virtual machines. which I cannot do with PHP. ඇයි ඉතින් මං එහෙම දාන්නේ? containers වලට දාන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම දැම්මහම මොකද වෙන්නේ? festive season එකක් આવොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? festival season එකක් આવොත් order volumes වැඩි වෙනවා, payments වැඩි වෙනවා. එතකොට මට මේක ඉන්ක්‍රීස් කරනවා නම් මට මේ දෙක විතරක් ඉන්ක්‍රීස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ දෙක විතර මට තියෙන ෆ්ලෙක්සිබිලිටි එකක් මේක කෑලි ඉන්ක්‍රීස් කරන්න. දැන් මම ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එක මොඩියුල් වලට කඩලා ඒ මොඩියුල් එක එක වෙන වෙනම කන්ටේනර්ස් වලට යනවා. ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එක වැඩි වෙනකොට ඔටෝමැටිකලි මේක ඉන්ක්‍රීස් වෙනවා. එහෙම හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එකේ මේක අඩු වෙනකොට ඔටෝමැටිකලි මේක අඩු වෙනවා. beautiful. then what? දැන් මේක මේ මදි. දැන් මට cloud එකට යන්න ඕනේ. This comes the cloud native computing. මම containerized application එකක් කරාම ඊට පස්සේ ඒ application එක අරගෙන ඒක මම ඇතුලේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ on prem තියාගන්න ඕනේ. I can put it in එක cloud එක application එක කෑල්ලක් එක cloud එකට යන්න පුළුවන්. අනිත් app cloud එකේ තව කෑල්ලක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. Absolutely. My product software now is universal. I can put it anywhere. ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා නම් ඇතුලේ පිට තියෙනවා නම් පිට. හැබැයි මේක කරන්න මේකත් එක්ක කපල් වෙනවා orchestration system එකක් තියෙනවා very very popular Kubernetes කියලා. You have to do it with the Kubernetes, with the containerization. When you do, your application will get into a different ball game, which I explain in next slide. Right. Then I'm going to explain to you the microservices, the way I learned it, to explain the rest of the advantages that you get with microservices. මේක ආවේ අවුරුදු මං හිතන්නේ 2018 කාලෙදී මගේ පුතා started working for a startup company එකට වැඩ කරන්න පටන් ගත්තා. So he was talking about this Kubernetes. I never understood. දෙපාරක් තුන්පාරක් ඇහුවා. Because my background is a systems background. Systems and networking. මට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ මේ කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ මේගොල්ලන්ගේ ටීම් එක මන්තරය වගේ මේක ජප් කරන්න පටන් ගත්තා Kubernetes. Now I was still not impressed. Then all of a sudden what I have said that මම YouTube එකක් දැක්කා Oracle අරගෙන සාමාන්‍යයෙන් Oracle implement කරන්න දවසක් යනවා. නැත්නම් දවස් දෙකක් විතර යනවා. ඒක ලේසි නෑ. virtual machine එක උනත් same thing අර මේවා දාලා install කළා ඔක්කොම කළා environment හදලා ඔක්කොම. කිසි අවුලක් නෑ. මෙන්න තියෙන ෆයිල් එකක් වගේ එකක් containers Oracle in a container ඒක අරගෙන අර computer එකට copy කරලා දානවා විනාඩි දෙකකින් Oracle up and running. I was wondering what is this? It's fantastic. නේ ෆයිල් එකක් copy කරනවා වගේ Oracle install කරනවා. copy කරලා දැම්මම වැඩේ කරනවා Oracle වැඩ කරනවා. So I thought this is something like a magic. I must look into details කියලා. Then I looked into more details. Then I found these things. The scalability of this system, you will get scalability at very, very low price point of this system. Right? And then increase and decrease resource requirement. Again, වැඩි කරන්න අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන් automatically. Clients can't even think of these things. අක්ලස් මේ traffic එක වැඩි වෙනකොට processing power එක වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කරන components වල තියෙන containers ගන්න වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්, අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. Then what else? Update and upgrade applications. Reboot කරන්න නැතුව ඔයාගේ application එක update ගන්න පුළුවන්. This is like magic, but it's possible. And that's exactly what these guys are doing right now. And you don't need VMware virtualization. You can say goodbye. Which the last point, application in multi-cloud, I have already explained. So this is where our world is heading. If you look at our latest applications, we are also going with microservices by this one. There are few challenges. I have oversimplified the whole thing for you to explain the concept. But the concept is right. There are few others here and there. But that's the way the future is going. Right. Then now the issue is should I go with cloud fully or should I have the on-prem or cloud both? What do you think? So rather than me telling you what to do, it's better we listen to few experts. The first one is Kamal Karunaratne. Kamal is a good friend of mine. He was with school. Now he is the global head of architect Principal Architect, Global Data Platform, press meet. Kamal mata gahana hoy kaman daap eකට. Kamal mata e dasala kiwa macam මේක කරලා වැඩක් නෑ වෙන මුකුත් කරන්න එපා ඔය යන්න එපා on prem. You have to go for cloud. You can start small, you can grow small. Why you want to do it on prem? I don't have to buy servers, I don't have to do anything. Do anything. So I was listening to him. I didn't have that much of experience with cloud. Recently, about like for example, 1 year ago, he spoke to me and said, "Kitsiri mega macam mara koti wali gaya." Manga wo mokada prashne. He says, "Manja, I don't have control. I don't know what the heck is going on. People are using it. At the end of the day, I'm getting bills. Absolute out of control. Nightmare." I think we made a bad mistake, he said. I never expected this to happen. So his experience now with cloud is not so rosy at the days he started. So that's his experience. And then the second one, Sanjay Senaveera. This is a CTO worldwide system at HPE, very high position, and reporting directly to HP CEO. He is looking after all the large customers like Mercedes, Tesla, and all these things because they have some huge systems from HP. Sanjay was in Sri Lanka වට ආපු වෙලාව මම හිතුවා සංජය ඕකට ෆියුචර් එකක් තියෙනවා දැන් අවුරුදු දෙකකට විතර ඉස්සෙල්ලා. Yeah. ඕකට ෆියුචර් එකක් තියෙනවාද ඔය විදියට? ඔය systems නැති වෙලා යන්නේ නැද්ද? He said no way. Because he said the larger the system, the cost will be prohibitive for this organization. So it will always be hybrid, on-prem plus cloud. Yes, there are certain things that will go to cloud. Yes, that will go to that will stay on-prem. Third, our own example, Mohan Pereira. Mohan එක්ක අහුවෙලා අපි අලුතෙන් පටන් ගත්තා. We have started a new initiative for e-commerce. It's called Boda Boda. Probably you might have got some item delivered by Boda. So Mohan was very, very adamant. He asked these guys to do it completely on Amazon. Do it on Amazon. We will go completely 100%. So we went there. Now this is a startup company. Volume started growing up. Initially the volume is, all of a sudden, we had to increase the volumes in the size in Amazon. You know how the jump is huge. Like for example, huge in the sense for a startup company. It went from like less than $200, $100 to $1,000. So $1,000 is 300,000 rupees per month. That's about 3-6. Now it is going up to about 10 million. So before even the company is making profit, now we have to pay Amazon upfront. Very bad lesson. So then we ask, can you now move this piece of software from Amazon to any other thing? No, we are stuck with Amazon because we have used the Amazon services to develop this software. The ජීවිතේටම අපිට Amazon එකේ ඉන්න වෙනවා මේ application එකත් එක්ක. It's tough call. Not the right one probably. Hari. The මේ අන්තිම එක is a very, very interesting. This is Mark Rusinovich. Azure CTO. What is Azure? Azure is the Microsoft cloud. And he is a big technical guy. He will see the future better than anyone else. He made a thumping statement in one of his videos. So even that one, I questioned my LinkedIn. By the way, I usually post in my LinkedIn. You can see this video if you go to my LinkedIn. That's from him. I asked whether he is committing by making this statement. What is the statement he is saying? He is telling pure cloud is not the way to go. On-prem and various clouds, these are the preference for a neutral multi-cloud and on-prem approach. He's openly telling it, and he is the guy who is supposed to sell Azure. Now he is coming out saying, future is not 100% cloud. Future is this one. It's a very, very bold statement. And I respect him for making that one because he is supposed to sell, yes. From the customer's point of view. But he says is he's very smart. Every customer. Economic sense, customer, that's what customer, because customer says, they have burned their fingers very badly. So that's why he understands that future is hybrid. It's not pure cloud. You can see this video if you go to my LinkedIn. This is from him, not by me, but I have reposted it. This is the video. Video is not coming, but you can see it. I'm not going to play this. Okay, final one. Final piece. Network systems. Very interesting. So again, I had to go through a body network design explain because I think even more than 90% of the networks right now you are having complies to this model, which is called a 3-tier network designs. මොකද්ද මේ 3-tier network design කියලා කියන්නේ? ලොකු වචනයක් තියෙනවා but බය වෙන්න එපා. මේක තියෙන්නේ මෙතින් වර්ග තුනක switches දාලා තමයි මේක හදන්නේ. Very simply. Access switch, distribution switches, core switches. මේකට තමයි මේ කියන්නේ 3-tier කියලා. මේ තුනම දාන්න කියලා කියනවා. ඊළඟට මොකද කරන්නේ? මේකේ මෙහෙම LAN එකක් හදනවා. ඊට පස්සේ තව LAN එකක් හදනවා. separate LANs හදනවා. මේකට layer 2 operate වෙන LAN එකක් කියලා කියනවා. මේක layer 3 operate වෙන LAN එක. Don't worry about this technical jargon too much. මේව තමයි මේක හදන්නේ. වර්ග තුනක switch දාලා මේක හදනවා. මේ network එක. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාගේ access point connect කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ branches connect කරනවා මේ core switches වලට. මේක තමයි model එක. ඊට පස්සේ users ලා වැඩ කරනවා. මේක තමයි 9 even Port Authority and Sri Lanka Airport, if I am not mistaken, is the model the same thing, which we did. Firewall එකක් දානවා, internal firewall එක, external firewall එකක් දානවා. අතරමැද තියෙනවා DMS zone කියලා. මොකද email servers එකම access කරන්න බෑ පිටිනුත්. ඒකින්ද මේ දෙපැත්තකින් දාලා protect කරලා තියෙනවා. දෙපැත්තකින් අගුළු දාලා. මේක තමයි model එක. එතකොට මේකට trusted model. Why we call it trusted? ඒකට පිටින් මුකුත් ගේන්න බෑ. පිටින් මුකුත් connect කරන්න බෑ. Nothing can be connected. Every computer and everything is purchased by the organization or the institution and given to the customer for use. They make it trusted. ඊළඟට මේක semi trusted because organization එකත් use කරනවා, alien උත් use කරනවා. මේක untrusted. මේ හරිය පොඩ්ඩක්වත් trusted නෑ. So this is a trusted model of networking. Right? Right. As I said, devices and infrastructure owned by the customer. End-to-end network equipment is same vendor. මේකේ concept එක තමයි අපි දැන් port එකේ මේකේ කරපු end-to-end එකම equipment එකම vendor ගෙන් තමයි ගියේ. හරි. මොකක්ද මේකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ? Let me take two classic case studies. This is 2011. I visited Burj Khalifa, Dubai, tallest building. Make a Sri Lanka Ports Authority. So what are the problems they faced at that time? Because they went ahead. Burj Khalifa went completely in a different route to this 3-tier model, whereas Port, under the circumstances, took a very, very different Sri Lankanized solution under the circumstances. What the problems Burj Khalifa had? 40,000 sensors. They had 40,000 sensors, some 42,000 or something like that. Huge amount of sensors in that building. මේක කොහොමද මේ network එකට connect කරන්නේ? ඒක තමයි ඒගොල්ලන්ට තිබුණ challenge එක. So they went away from the traditional networking model and went for something entirely new. They took a very, very bold step and it was successful. And then Sri Lanka Ports Authority මොකද උනේ? We did the large network. මට මතක හිටියට $5 million $. Pretty large because එක තැනක ඉඳලා අනිත් තැනට 6 kilometers. මම කියන්නේ මේ strength එක විතරක්. Massive. Port එක ඇවිල්ලා මේ ගමක් මේ network කරනවා වගේ වැඩක් port එක network කරනවා කියන්නේ. ඒක කළා ඉවරලා අතාරගෙන වැඩි කාලයක් ගියේ නෑ. Then came American government and they wanted to implement mega port project. මොකද්ද mega port කියලා කිව්වේ? Now they wanted to stop අපේ transshipment port එකක් ලංකාවේ තියෙන්නේ. They wanted to make sure all the equipment or products, the containers that is going out of Sri Lanka does not carry any nuclear items. So they want to scan it. So they came and put scanners in every gate. So they are scanning. They make a network connect. They ask Sri Lanka Post, allow your network to connect. Now, Sri Lanka, because these networks are not designed to, connect anything outside, and they don't have any control over what Americans are going to do. So they thought about it. Okay, says no, sorry. You put up a separate network. That's all what we can. We will give you all the ducts, cables, but you have to have your own network. So cables we used, only except the cables we used all the cables, but equipment we have put it again anew. So it's like two separate physical networks. Only cables were shared, right? And I was fortunate enough with port tech karapinda devani product project ekat mata hambuna government project එක $3 million pretty large ඒකත් මට හම්බුණා. But there was no other simpler way of handling that one. Right. So I have already said. So මොනවද ගන්න challenge එක? අද තියෙන challenge එක මොකද්ද මේ trusted network model එකේ? මේ තියෙන on-prem එක, මේ තියෙන data center side එක මෙන්න බලන්න වෙලා තියෙන වැඩේ. අපි telephone connect කරනවා. AC connect කරනවා. Building management system එක connect කරනවා. Right? CCTV connect කරනවා මේ system එකට. මේවා control එකක් තියෙනවද? Do you have control over these systems? Absolutely no. And the worst yet is the mobile phone. What sort of control you have for the mobile phone? Can you ask people to keep the mobile phone outside and come? It's not practical. So this is a big challenge because this network is not meant for this type of connectivity. Then the second issue, now your servers, you are now putting it to cloud. So how the hell are we going to provide security for all these devices? Because this is somewhere else, cloud. So these are big challenges for this network. Trusted gone, it's no longer trusted. What happened to the branch network? Now the branch stopped using lease lines, they are all using the internet lines for connectivity. Is it trusted? Absolutely no. Lease line is a trusted line because it's for you. But internet is not trusted. So now that's another headache that you will be having. So how do we handle it? Right. These are the two major issues. Main network එක මේවා connect කරනවා නම් මේ connect කරන පාරට port එකට ගිහිල්ලා port එක configure කරන්න ඕනේ. Imagine Burj Khalifa 42,000 sensors, 42,000 ports. Port එකෙන් port එකට ගිහිල්ලා 42,000 sensor configure කරන්න ගියම මේ වැඩේ කරන්න පුළුවන්. තාමත් Burj Khalifa එහෙනම් මේක කරන්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. තාමත් building පටන් ගන්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So this is the issue. So second issue is the security. It's a major security issue. Now people are coming from all over the place to your network. So how do you protect it? May network is not meant for this one. I'll show you what is meant for it. Classic case study. Have you heard about this Target data? Target is one of the largest shopping malls in US and all these Western countries. Pretty huge, right? This is the biggest hack, reported hack. 40 million credit cards were stolen from Target. This is the story. They have used a very simple method. You scan your credit card, information goes into their server. From their server, Target server, hackers took it out. Interesting question is, how did it happen? There are various opinions because Target didn't come out and say this is how it happened. But there are very many investigative journalists who has gone through it. And when I looked into it, most of them agree on one aspect, which I have read. I think that is knowing in networking, I think this is most possible course. They had to open it up. Mind you, I'm sure they would have had the legacy network. They had to open it up for the high voltage HVAC, that is your AC vendor, and the BMS vendor. Open their network for that to do services or something. They have forgotten to close it. And that particular point has been, exploited by the hackers and got into this, right? So this is what has happened. This is how they managed to do it. This is the danger of having an old system to meet the new requirements. Then what happened? The branch network. The branch, as I said, is going traffic directly. This was like when you have lease lines, all your traffic will come to the head office, and from head office that you go to cloud, right? Now what happened is, this is no longer valid, and now you are going through internet. Again, another point, open point, non-trusted point now you will be having. Now everyone is using SD-WANs. Those days people use routers and lease lines. Now you use SD-WANs and the links, internet links. If you are looking at SD-WANs, one point of caution is, you have to be careful, because as I said, many people are suggesting everything should be hybrid model. Not all the vendors support hybrid model. Some vendors support only cloud model. Some vendors support hybrid model. So look into that one. That is a pitfall. The slide, cybersecurity. This is about cybersecurity. Now this is our latest network. Then අපි ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නවා මේ තමයි අලුත්ම network එක. කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අපි කැමති වුණත් අකමැති වුණත් මේ ඔක්කොම TV, mobile phones, IoT, BMS, building management ඔක්කොම මේකට connect කරන්න වෙනවා. මේක තමයි අලුත් system එක. අපේ server වල application වල කැලලක් that will be on this one, cloud. So how do we provide? What is zero trust network? What do you mean by zero trust? Untrusted, untrusted, untrusted. Look at these crosses I am putting. මේ හැම point එකම protect කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මෙතන මේ ඉබ්බා දාගෙන අපි මෙතන ඉබ්බා දාගෙන ඉන්නවා. මෙතන ඉබ්බා දාලා වැඩක් තියනවද? Trusted network එකේදී yes, because no one would come. මේ boundary එක break කරන්න බෑ කාටවත්. Now what's the point? In a way, firewall is getting kind of obsolete. In a way. But for you are ඉස්සර ගෙදර ඉබ්බා අගුළු දානවා වගේ අපි තාමත් ඒක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. But the latest concept is zero trust network. You have to protect from all over the place. Nothing should be trusted. And for each of these points and each of these devices, you have separate products and solutions. Little complicated, but that's the life that's going to be with the latest what you are going to have. Right? Security network is very challenging, yes. Atharama, those days we used to say end-to-end networking from the same vendor. The end-to-end networking, there is no concept called end-to-end networking now. Now what is important is the end-to-end security. It's really important right now, because you have to protect everything, because your resources are all over the place. This is what's called zero trust network. Then comes to the next case, autonomous networks. This is how you solve this issue of networking. What is autonomous network? Let me define it. Autonomous network is configured and provisioned automatically to run with minimal to or no human intervention. Autonomous network is a network where everything is automatic. You don't have to go to each and every port and configure it. It will take care of it. This is a beautiful concept, and the latest trend is go for autonomous network with what's called network fabrics. Let me explain what this autonomous network and network fabric. Again, I am going back to my design to explain. මේ තමයි අපේ network එක. Challenges from the outside the boundaries of our trusted. If we have a kind of autonomous network, what it will do, when the moment you plug in any of these products, it will automatically profile, and then it will decide this is a mobile phone, this is IoT device. This should not be in our main. This should not be allowed to connect to our other servers. We should be in a separate network. It will be put into a separate network. All this is done without any human intervention. It will create different types. This is a guest. We should not give anything other than internet access. So you can go to internet, absolutely nothing is visible to him. All done automatically. Based on the moment you plug in your device, it will decide. Network will automatically decide. Right. Then what? Protect, detect, respond. It's an interesting concept because you set the policies for different set of people's teams. Based on the device, you attach it to this one. Now, secure devices, zero trust networking is fine. But what happens the moment you connect it to your network? There's some, abnormal behavior. Who can detect that? Security devices won't be able to detect it. It's network. So what it does is, it will immediately detect, there is abnormal behavior. Here is Mr. Firewall or whoever. Please check this traffic. I am not sure about this traffic. It will immediately create a tunnel to the what's called a firewall and put all the traffic directly to the firewall for testing. It's all automatic. So network should hand in hand work with the zero trust network products and solutions. We're otherwise half baked. So you go and plug in there, immediately network should be the first one to tell you, මට මෙයා විශ්වාස නැහැ. මෙයාගේ මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. අනේ පොඩ්ඩක් බලලා දෙන්න මෙයා මොකෙද්ද කියලා. And then send that traffic this way. To do that, all that, you need a fabric network. 3-tier network එකකින් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Can you extend the fabric network to branches? Yes. And integration with all these, zero trust network devices? Yes, perfectly all right. Network, autonomous network, fabric network and zero trust network goes hand in hand together to provide you this latest state-of-the-art network that is required for a modern day infrastructure. One more additional thing, I don't know whether you have heard these two terms, Terraform and Ansible, getting very, very popular. What you can do is all the configurations, and those days we used to have to go to the equipment, make a gahala plug, gahala wire, gahala configure. It's all gone, and you can now do in programming languages. These are two very, very popular programming kind of languages which can do configurations of your systems. We are now getting into final parts of our presentation. AI and future of IT projects. Interesting. I will explain AI in two parts. What is available today and what will happen tomorrow. The first slide is about what will available today. Software development. If you go to AI, major part of software development can be done through AI. So does that mean you don't no longer need software engineers? I'm sure your kids and your children must be studying software. I'll give you one classic example. ඉස්සර ඒ දවස්වල අපේ ගෙදරට වඩු බාසුත් නැහැ. ආවේ කොහොමද? ලොකු කියතොක් අරගෙන ආවා. ඊට පස්සේ අර බුරුමයක් මෙහෙම තියලා බුරුමේ කියලා කියවනේ. ලී විදින්න අරගෙන ආවා. එහෙම තමයි කාපෙන්ට්‍රි කරේ. අර ගෝඩි ඩිසයින්ස් කරලා යනවා. So we were accepted. Because that was acceptable, right? Then came the power tools. No one used that type of tools anymore. The moment power tools came, whole lot of in the entire world, people got into power tools and they do as hobby. Whether කරන්න පුළුවන් පොඩි පොඩි දේවල් තවන්ට කරගන්න පුළුවන්, that's okay. But have we lost the services of a carpenter? No way. What has happened is now the demand and the requirement from a carpentry has gone up like leaps and bounds. Same thing will happen here as software. Software engineers will never be obsolete. But the requirement and the things that they have to do will be very, very different as well. Because these things, the coding and things like that, they can get it done with AI. I myself have done coding with AI. But the moment there is something wrong, I need to have some form of understanding. So layman can't do it. of these codes, where it has gone and what has gone wrong. I had to have some form of understanding. So this won't go down, but the concept of this one, the best example is the carpentry. Power tools are like carpenter නැති උන්නේ. So it's the same with AI. The next one, you go to any of the diagnosis and performance, you go to any of the infrastructure vendors, networking or anyone, everyone will stress they have අපිට AI තියෙනවා, we are doing AI. මම අවුරුද්දකට විතර ඉස්සෙල්ලා මම මේක check කරා. I went to different vendors and I just checked, what do you have in AI? What do you call AI? It's all, I don't have words to say it, it's not AI. Because I was, by that time, I was so used to ChatGPT. Nowhere near ChatGPT. I was expecting something quite similar to ChatGPT. Then I came across one vendor. They said like they are 3 years ahead of the rest of the bundle. Others would have catched by out now because my information put up parnai. And I asked, show me. Then they did a demo. I can go and type it mage infrastructure එකේ හිතන්න ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ boss ගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ආවා කියලා you did the height say boss ගේ නම නිමල් කියලා. So you can type it. Nimal had a problem yesterday, normal language එකේ had up 10 o'clock. Can you tell me what's the problem is? Here comes, beautifully explained. These are possible. He had this one. This is what he has said, how this connected. His problem is this one. I was fallen out of my chair because they were way ahead. They said, because you get an AI model, you need to train the AI model. You just, because you have AI, you can't get output tomorrow. At least couple of years, like 6 years, 5 years, you have to keep on training these AI models. They have been training it 5 years. That's how they managed to come out with this solution. Otherwise, what you have called AI is most of this song is like garbage in my opinion. But again, I'm cautioning you. My information is about 1 year old. After that, I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't find it out what others are doing right now. They would have catched up. You know, recently, China, all of a sudden, they have released the AI model. Trillions of dollars stock market take a crash in America. China, no one knew. So these things can happen. We never knew, right? The final is security. Because there's nothing to hide. You all are aware, state actors have got into hacking, right? When I say state actors, you know who. This is a very, very difficult thing to, using standard tools and everything. It's very, very difficult to, take countermeasures against these state actors. They are very, very sophisticated. The only way that I can think of is using behavioral analytics. That means what is happening in your systems and what is happening in your networks. You collect the data, you do behavioral analytics, and then you come out into the conclusions. That is the biggest advantage that you get with security. You can predict and find it out any issues before they happen. Right now, yes, solutions are available. They are walking in that direction. That is pretty huge. So that is what is you have right now. So what's going to be in future? So I was thinking, what should I say about you? Mukada mage idea එක. So I thought I will ask AI to generate. Palavini prashna everyone is asking is, will AI take over human race? All the stories are going around. So I want to have a concept. I ask AI engine to draw a picture for me. Mage idea එක දාලා. So what you are about to see 2 pictures which AI generated. First one. කවුද මේ? මේ තමයි දුටුගැමුණු රජුරන්ගේ මට හිතුණ හැටියට දසමහයෝධයෝ. What has got me දසමහයෝධයෝ with AI? හිතන්න අද දසමහයෝධයෙක් එනවා කියලා. කවුද රස්සාවක් දෙන්නේ? Who will give? කඩුවක් වනවන උස මහත ඇඟපත තියෙන ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මම යෝධයෙක් කියලා. මොකද තියෙන රස්සාව? I don't think anyone will give any form of a job to him. It's gone. I'm not disrespecting them, But in that era, the demand is for මේ වගේ කට්ටියට දසමහයෝ දෙක. දුටුගැමුණු රජුන ප්‍රඥයෝ හිටිය කියලා කතාවක් නෑනේ. රාජ්‍යයෙන් ඇති වැඩක් නෑ. මේක තමයි යථාර්ථය. It will come, it will go. අද මොනවද ඕනේ? මේ තමයි second picture එක. අද we need knowledge workers and particularly people who can work with AI. I'll give you a small demonstration right now. Right? Because you can use AI to learn other things. It's very interesting. One of the things is AI need to predict accurate results. Data. If you don't have, මගේ office එකේ මම දැකලා තියෙනවා අපේ කට්ටියට use කරන්න කියලා කිව්වහම ඒක හරියට වෙන්නේ නැහැ හුඟක් වෙලාවට. When I looked at it, for some reason, maybe English or anything like that, the information that's being fed to the AI engine is not proper. Then what you get it out is also, you input garbage, AI engine will also give you kind of garbage with little bit of value addition. That's how it goes. Then AI will never take over this one. AI will change the way we eat, drink and behave. That's for sure. But they will never take over. That's wishful thinking. Right. So what we should do, one of the things is that AI works in English. That's what I said. English is going to be very, very important in the era of AI. It will be now with AI much more important than it was yesterday. Right? Well, topmost American British universities just because you have got the highest marks, you can't enter. You have to have creative writing. That's the concept. That's the criteria. Just because you have become the island first, you can't enter. You have to have creative writing. They will look into other aspects on life. Likewise, I think you have to now, pump up little bit of your creativity with AI. So people with brains as well as people with creativity will be in high demand in years to come. Now, this is interesting. I don't know how many of you are. I'll show it to you right now. Now, your kids you must be having, right? I am asking them to learn English. I'm going to have a little bit of a session with AI on English. I'm going to chat GPT. Hello. Can you මට ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Yes, you can. Keep practicing regularly and you'll get better over time.
මම මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ?
You can try speaking a little English every day. Watch English shows, read books, or chat with friends. Keep it simple and have fun.
මට එකකින් පටන් ගන්න මොකක් හරි simple එකක්.
Sure, you can start with, "Hello, how are you today?" It's a simple way to begin a conversation.
මං උදේ බලධාරීකෙන් කෑම කෑව කියලා මං කොහොමද කියන්නේ?
You can say, "I had breakfast with my family in the morning."
How wonderful this is. This is what I say, the way we think, where we work, everything is going to, your kids and everyone who wants to learn English, they don't have to go any far, they can use it with AI. Learning. Recently, Google has given another AI engine. It will be a tutor. Excel sheet එක දාලා එයා බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා, එයාට කිය දෙනවා. He will teach you how to do it. You can ask, now where is my column? I want this column. I want to, search and find it out the price for this product in this column. It will guide you. ළඟ ඉඳලා teacher කෙනෙක් කියා දෙනවා. So the whole thing is going to change right now. Only thing is we can catch it up, but taking over human race, that's wishful thinking. That will never happen. I think that's... Yep, thank you.